Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So before the camera was rolling, we talked a little bit. We had something in common. Both radio guys.
Absolutely. Six to midnight rock and roll.
Man, and now we're doing this.
Now we're doing this. What a surprise.
Tell me the inspiration. What made you sit down? You've written so many books that have been, extremely successful. But this one in particular, what was the inspiration where you sat down and said, I'm going to tell this story?
This is the first book that I ever wrote as a book. I've written stuff all my life, but it never was on my bucket list to become a published author. And the inspiration of this was my wife saying, someday, would you give a gift to our kids and put in one place how you think, because you think outside the box. And I didn't feel healthy enough to do that until I was 50 years old. And then on the train to one of my 3 jobs, trying to get it done for Christmas, I wrote them a story. And it did everything I ever wanted it to do. 15 copies at Office Depot, and now I went back to work.
You self-published this book, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, that's because nobody wanted it.
Well, they want it now.
Oh, I know. But, again, a lot of times publishing, and people in publishing are there because they really desire to have an impact with words, and they believe in that. But they're so used to seeing what has been happening in the past or right now that they don't see sometimes what's out there. And none of us did. We thought it would take years to get to the place where we even got to 100,000 copies. So,
what is it like to be an author and be told that your book is turning into a major motion picture? I can't even imagine how cool that must feel.
It's so cool, and it's so surreal because, just not my world.
And then you get this incredible cast.
I know.
Playing your characters.
I know.
Let's talk about those characters.
Please.
The inspiration behind that, of course, Papa, which is an interesting name.
Well, it's a mixed metaphor, right?
Okay.
Because I think all maternity and all paternity originate in God. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times our imagery has been bipolar. And it's to mix the metaphor. So you've seen the movie?
Oh, absolutely. I loved it. I saw it last night.
Oh, sweet.
No, I know. I'm very much aware of the
yeah.
That's why I'm curious about the characters and the
Octavia is a perfect.
She's perfect for it.
She is. And she just wraps you up in that embrace and is like, all right, we're there. I mean,
I don't want to put anybody, you don't want to force people to go to a movie and walk out thinking a certain way. But obviously, when you told this story, you were hoping that there was a theme, a message that people got out of it. And I'm curious, what are your hopes for the people to see when they see this film?
The book was really layered. The movie is very layered. It's a great adaptation. Anybody that loved The Shack won't be disappointed in the movie at all. And from the very beginning, I just wanted my kids to hear for themselves something that met them at the place that they were in their lives. And I think the movie will do that in a profound sort of way.
The theme, there's grief and there is forgiveness.
Yep.
And not trying to get Dr. Phil, Oprah Winfrey today, but why is it so hard for people to forgive?
One is that they confuse forgiveness and reconciliation. Reconciliation is learning how to trust someone again, and that takes time and ownership. But forgiveness, that's a conversation between you and God about letting go of somebody's throat. If we don't forgive, we walk around with a corpse and it poisons everybody that's around us. But it gives us a sense of validation and control, and sometimes we mistake our prisons for sanctuaries.
And I love that the movie isn't afraid to be what it is, a conversation about God.
Absolutely.
And I give you complete props and total kudos for that.
Come on, brother.
Final question for you today, sir.
Yeah.
And I get asked this all the time as a radio guy. I wasn't even going to ask you this, but now that I know this, and I get asked this all the time, so I'm going to ask you, do you miss radio?
I do. I do. There are elements of it and I was back in the day where we had to engineer our own programs, so it was wild. But there are things about it that I love. I love the interaction. I love music anyway. So, speaking of which, I don't know if you've heard the soundtrack yet, but it's stunning.
It's beautiful, and I have.
Come on.
Oh, I played vinyl. I played cards.
Yeah.